Hello, Dr. Vikki Petersen here. I wanted to speak with you about a new report that came out regarding soy sauce, and if soy sauce that, not the gluten-free tamari or the wheat-free tamari, but the actually wheat-containing soy sauce, if it was okay for those of us who are gluten intolerant. That might sound like a silly question on the face of it, but this is what the study reported. I don't agree with it, so let me say that on the outset, but this is what the study looked at, was the fact that soy sauce is naturally fermented, or another term for that is hydrolyzed, meaning that the process by which the soy sauce is made, actually with some addition of water and heat, will break down the proteins. So hydrolysis is a partial breakdown of the protein. So what this particular study found was they analyzed some soy sauce that was wheat containing, yet they found it to be gluten-free. Meaning that it was so well broken down, they felt, that there was no remaining pieces of the protein left that could cause a problem. So that sounds interesting, but I was struck with a couple of things. One is certainly I have found in my patients on multiple occasions, patients who weren't doing well, only to discover they didn't realize that soy sauce had wheat in it. They were a sushi lover or they loved ethnic food that had soy sauce in it, and when we found that they were consuming soy sauce with wheat and we removed it from their diet, then they started doing well again. So that was one thing that I had as far as experience is concerned. Number two was a study that I blogged about, and I'm not sure if I did a video about it, but it had to do with the fact that products that are hydrolyzed, and in this particular study out of Spain, they looked, and it was a recent study, they looked at beer, and they looked at baby food, and they looked at some syrups that were hydrolyzed, and what they found was that partial breakdown was enough to fool our typical ELISA testing, which measures how much gluten is in a food. But when they did their own testing of a more sensitive nature, they found in fact that there were many hundreds of parts per million. So we want a food to be under 20. Ideally, we'd love a food to have 0 parts per million, but by law, under 20 is considered gluten-free. And these products, whereby with the regular testing showed under 20 parts per million, as soon as they did their more sensitive test, they were showing anywhere from 60 to over 200 parts per million. So what they said was that when it came to foods that were hydrolyzed, it was better to use this new method of testing, which was actually less expensive because it was more sensitive. It was more sensitive to pick up those little fragments of protein that could still cause problems in the human body that the typical testing was unable to detect. So I think this recent report where they had checked a very common brand of soy sauce, Kikkoman soy sauce, and found it to be gluten-free, they did that typical ELISA testing and not the this newer testing by this other research group, which was called sandwich ELISA testing. It was ELISA R5 actually, so there's ELISA R5 and then there's sandwich ELISA R5, and it's that sandwich one that's the more sensitive for hydrolyzed foods. So realize we're only talking about a small grouping of foods, these hydrolyzed foods or naturally fermented foods, but the soy sauce, certain baby foods, beer, and certain sauces fall into that category. So it's kind of a little bit of a loophole, if you will, to determine whether something is truly gluten-free or not. So in my opinion, I would disregard this recent study that said that soy sauce is naturally gluten-free despite the fact that it has wheat in it, because I'm pretty sure that it has some remaining peptides or chunks of protein that can cause you problems. So if you like soy sauce, stick with the wheat-free tamari, which is very available to you, and please share this with others. I hope this was helpful for you, and please send in your questions. I love to hear from you, and until next time, I wish you very good health.